This 2015 University of Arizona field camp lasted 5 weeks and took us to 9 separate mapping areas stretching from eastern California to central Arizona. The overall intent was to have students experience firsthand the geologic history of North America over the last 1 billion years. And this film shows off the highlights. To access difficult areas, we used a military 6x6 to carry over 350 gallons of water, food, and supplies for 25 people, which was slow on the open road, as everybody would pass us. But it proved its importance in backcountry, with the carryalls struggling to keep up. Once camp was established, we were off mapping. And that's because we were trying to get as much experience for these students in the field as possible.
A lot of students come out from this class, if I've been successful, if we've been successful, finally bringing everything together, your classroom training and field work into a holistic geologist.
At each mapping area, we would start on the highest peak to get a regional view and understanding of that area, and then as a class, hike through the layers to familiarize everyone with the diagnostic features of each formation. The students experienced an enormous range of rock types and styles of geology. For instance, the Beaver Dam Mountains.
Ever since we've come up the side of the hill there, we've obviously been in a different lithology. Just the fact that there's a hill here, as opposed to down below on the Carmel, which was very subdued in terms of outcrop. So this is a good place, I think, to get a strike and dip and talk about the fossils that are in here. Thanks to Christine, she found this very diagnostic fossil, which looks like a little saguaro, but certainly it has a branching form, doesn't it? It's the white outline there, right there. So this bryozoan, which was referred to by paleontologists as Lithostrontionella, is specific to the Pennsylvanian time period, and in this area to the Calville Formation. So we've really hit pay dirt paleontologically. It follows the prediction. You do predictive stratigraphy. We predicted that we'd see dolostone. We predicted we'd see an Aeolian sandstone. So thankfully it's a pretty uninterrupted sequence. And this is as high as we need to go, isn't it? Looks like it's Quiana Weep all the way up to the top. And we are in the hanging wall, apparently, of this big fault. So I just hope everybody appreciates that this is the tip of a structural iceberg and that we have to project it significantly in various directions from here. Well, that entire sequence out there should be above us, right? It would have been carried by the thrust sheet up on top. So everything we've been mapping on in the footwall, it's gone. It used to be up there, right? That's what we mean by the severe fold and thrust belt, by thin skin deformation. This is it, you guys. This is geotechnicolor.
In the Sierra Nevadas, mapping the Morrison Pendant.
Three. Okay, let's try it. Let's try number 3 and play stratigraphy then. Okay. Squares tunnel down there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're coming this way. What will we predict would happen?
We will have directly Mount Morrison right here.
No, wait a minute. We're in the syncline, so we'd be climbing stratigraphically in the syncline.
Okay.
We have to come younger. So we'd get Squares Tunnel, and then we'll be on top of Squares Tunnel. We don't know, but it wouldn't be this.
In Nevada, mapping within the monitor range at Clear Creek.
That's cool. I'm missing down there. Well, yeah. Thanks.
The edge of the mountain coming this way. The fact that we can't see it means it hasn't ruptured recently, but it doesn't mean it isn't there. And to create this sharp basin versus range topography, or Horst and Graben, we have to have a bounding normal fault in here. Those beds, pre-basin and range, the top of that mountain has to be restored down to valley level. It's been rotated and lifted back up and eroded.
Commensurate with the mapping difficulty, mapping areas and steep terrain also increased, with Angel Lake feeling almost like a vertical ascent. Whenever possible, we would take roadside stops like looking at these ancient till lights in the Sierra Nevadas.
And as road cuts go, this is the Vatican. This is St. Peter's and Hagia Sophia all rolled into one. It's a holy spot.
As night fell, most would retire to the work tent as this time was spent chipping away at each of the project's different facets.
Do you have any striking tip measurements for your JC?
All right, so we have an assignment right now. It's composed of 3 parts. We have a map that we have to fill in, a geologic cross-section based on that map, and history based on what we observed in the field. One of the problems is in the field, if you make terrible observations, you're going to come back and make terrible everything else.
So you feel you make terrible observations?
They're getting better, but this was our first time flying solo, and it was a rude awakening realizing that I couldn't fly.
All assignments were later thoroughly discussed and synthesized.
The couple outstanding features of this area. Of course, it's a mecca for geologists, in addition to us, the UC Davis crowd, because they were looking at the Hilton Creek Fault, which of course is this fault. It's that hill right there behind those aspen, right?
The capstone exercise was to develop a regional cross-section into a regional synthesis of everything they had learned for the camp.
What is this regional cross-section?
This one right here is running from central Nevada to the Grand Canyon area. This one right here, western part of Sierra Nevadas to the Monitor Mountains, kind of in western northern Nevada.
So the first step in order to create this cross-section is to put the physical boundary, for example the moho and the brittle to ductile transition. The second step is to put all the faults in, so all the normal faults, especially in the Basin and Range extension province, and all the truss faults. Then you have to go look at the geological map right here and put all the geological units that you see at the surface and express them, infer them at depths. In order to do that, you have to look at the stratigraphic columns and add all the thickness of each unit to get the thickness of each section, and then you have a coherent cross-section over here.
Do you feel like you've improved since the first day of field camp?
Yes, especially concerning the carbonate, the sedimentary rock like this one, Dolostone, I feel a little bit more confident about it.
I think my mapping's improved a lot, but I think I've taken a lot more like leaps and bounds, and I'm not afraid to be like, okay, maybe this is a fault, instead of just being like, well, I don't know.
I think my mapping experience has just exploded. It's exponential growth and everything just starts to click into place.
So if you had the choice, would you do this again?
Oh, definitely. It's a great experience.
I think for me, I made the right choice coming here for field camp, just because I think I'm going to learn the most in this process, not just about mapping, but about like myself and what my limits are.
Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I guess my advice would definitely be to take George Davis's mapping class, because I didn't take that. And I feel like I started out a little bit behind, and it really could have helped me out.
I had a rough go of it, I'll say about the first week. Like I got my rhythm down now, but meet the challenges head on. It's going to challenge you all the time. And one of my biggest things was just to meet the challenges head on as best as I could. And that's pretty much all I'm trying to do.
Be in shape, be used to using the Stairmaster.
Just know that it's a 24-hour job.
Really pay attention to the units you're in and understand the way they're dipping and when to kind of expect, what direction to expect the next unit,
In the end, I think you'll really feel like a geologist and feel like you can address problems geologically and be put into any situation, be able to draw contacts on a map with confidence, identify rocks in the field.
It's a lot of fun, and I think it's one of the last one that is entirely camping.
And if you were to project forward, where do you think you'll be at the end of this whole course?
I think I'd probably be pretty damn good.
But the field camp wasn't just work. There were other things that the students took part in. Amazing wildlife, like wild mustangs running, deer, jaw-dropping scenery like the Sierra Nevada thermal streams and pools. Demonstrations like the explosive power of steam in a phreatomagmatic eruption. Listening to scary stories by Jay.
So have you guys ever found a body in the field? I've found 4 altogether. And, but only one of them a homicide. And it was up here.
Getting to swim in these glacial lakes.
Yeah, remember that part when they're like in the swamp?
Bathing in natural hot tubs. And the occasional snowball fight whenever we got into a little patch. And plenty of great eating.
Wow.
So you gotta try it out.
So give us some words of wisdom about field camp.
Love your cook. Love the cook. No matter who he is.
Is that all you got?
That's it.
Just love your cook.
I cook. I'm not a public speaker.
On the final day, many students climb Mount Fitzgerald to enjoy a spectacular view of the Ruby Mountains in northeast Nevada.
The huge mountain sickness out. No, because this is how we are.
So Jay, can you tell us what we can see off in the distance, the peaks and valleys? And